Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Brooke and this is Pages of Blessings. Okay, so today I'm bringing you my December TBR, but I'm really going to call it a December pile of possibilities. I'm definitely in a reading mood and I know I'm not going to get through all these. I had a very ambitious November TBR that I'm not even close to getting through, and I will discuss more of all that in my November wrap-up. But with the holidays, and we have pretty much something going on every weekend from now until Christmas, which is when I usually get most of my reading done, I know I'm not going to get through these, and I'd rather be reading things I want to pick up and I'm enjoying than anything else. If I'm not enjoying it, I'll put it down and try something new, and I'm really just going to see what I'm feeling in the moment as I finish books. There's not going to be a big rhyme or reason to the books I pick up in December besides that I want to read them. I'm going to start with a buddy read. So Bailey from Bailey's Bookshelf and I were going to buddy read Wistress. We were both super excited for this one. Bailey actually gifted this to me a couple weeks ago, about a month ago or so, and so we're really excited to dive in and start this. And then we're also going to be buddy reading The Case for Christ. Now this is a little bit like I probably won't get to this until my January wrap up. We're going to read it slower. If it takes us till the end of January, even into February, we're okay with that. We just want to move at our own pace through this, since it isn't a nonfiction, and those tend to be a little bit slower paced when we're reading. So we're going to be starting both of these in December, finishing this one in December, and this one either January or February, depending. So I don't want to keep this video super long, so I'm not going to give too much of a description of them, considering I'm not going to get to all of them, but I will give like a brief synopsis of what I know about them, and we will go from there. So I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9 books that I would consider wintry / Christmas books. The first one is The Bridge by Karen Kingsbury. And this one follows a bookshelf that's going out of business, I believe, and they're trying to save the bookshelf, or bookshop. Did I say shelf? Bookshop. And I don't know, I think there's some sort of romance that evolves. It's now an original movie on Hallmark, so I'm assuming there's some romance in it. But The Bridge. And here, let me grab the other two. I have two by Melody Carlson, A Christmas in the Alps and Christmas in Winter Hill. And these are very short. I think they're actually considered novellas. Let's see. This one is... If I can get there. Yeah, 164 pages. And... like 166, not including the epilogue in this one. So under 200 pages. These should be quick reads, and they actually found on Hoopla. They both have audiobooks, so I'm even tempted just to do an audiobook. I probably could get through these in a day just on audio. This one, let's see, I don't even remember what these are about. I remember reading them and thinking they sounded interesting, and covers are super Christmassy. And she had lots to choose from, but those are the two that sounded the most interesting, and I got them out for my library. Next, I have The Christmas Shoes. I picked this up, I don't know, at a thrift store or a free little library or something along those lines a couple of years ago maybe, and it was on my list to read last year, and I never got to it. Again, it's another really short read. I mean, I think this one's even under 150 pages. It says, if we're open to it, God can use even the smallest thing to change our lives, to change us. It might be a laughing child, car brakes that need fixing, a sail on a pot roast, a cloudless sky, a trip to the woods to cut down a Christmas tree, a school teacher, a Dunhill billiard pipe, or even a pair of shoes. And I think this is also maybe, oh no, it's based on a song called The Christmas Shoes. I don't think I've ever heard it. I'd be interested to listen to it after I read this though, but again, really short. So I'm thinking, again, that's something I could get through relatively quickly. And another one I picked up is I kept seeing this on everybody's, I think Oshina recommended it, and then I saw it again somebody else's December Christmas book list recommendation. And so I grabbed it from my library. This is by Rianne Thane, I believe is how you pronounce her name. This is Sleigh Bells Ring. From my understanding, there's a camp or a ranch that's being shut down, and people that work there are kind of throwing one last big Christmas, and then there's a potential enemies to lovers type of romance surrounding one of the employees of the ranch and the caretaker or the owner, something like that. But it sounded really interesting when they described it, so picked in the cover. Like, can I just jump inside the cover and go live there? That's so beautiful. Last, that's like strictly Christmas. I shared this in a few videos. I'm not even gonna really get into it, but that's the Christmas Riddle Antique Shop Mysteries. We'll see if I get to it. It's here if I'm in a mystery type of mood. I don't know, right now I'm not in a mystery mood, but I could be in a week, so we'll just keep it in the pile. All right, the next three aren't, I don't believe, explicitly Christmas, but they have wintry settings. First is Patty Callahan's Once Upon a Wardrobe. This was recommended, I believe, by Jordan. She is the Bookish Gem on YouTube and on Instagram, and this follows the origin story of Narnia. It's a sister and a brother, and her brother is diagnosed with cancer, or his health is failing, and she reads him Chronicles of Narnia, and he becomes fascinated with the story and wants to know like how C.S. Lewis came up with it. So I think it's her tracing down the origin story for her brother as like a end of life wish, like trying to bring comfort to her brother as he's dying. So that sounded really, really good. This I found by happenstance at our library. My son was playing in the children's area, and I was just kind of looking through the middle grades and found this Snow Lane cover. I thought, oh, that seems like a really interesting read. And then I read the back and I'm like, oh, this also sounds a little depressing. And it follows Nora, I believe, and everything's not as all as that it seems. I think there's maybe some underlying abuse happening in her home, and her and her siblings trying to endure and survive it. But yeah, it sounded really interesting, and we'll see if the winter cover intrigued me, and then when I read the back, I was like, that's not what I was expecting, but it also sounded interesting. So not super confident I'll get to this one, but I have it here. I'll put it in the pile. Okay, my last wintry read, Christmas read, as everyone always recommends this around December, which is Green Glass House, and I have had, it's always on hold, like super long wait list at my library. Finally, so I requested it back at the beginning of November, hoping it'd come in time for December, and it did. And so I'm excited to read this one. Follows a hotel, I believe. It's a smuggler's inn. And so it's usually quiet, but then all of a sudden all these people start showing up. So it's a little bit of a mystery, I believe. And it follows, who does it follow? Milo. So he lives at a Green Glass House, and he's observing all of these people coming and his interactions, and an adventure ensues. That's all I remember, and that's all I want to know. I don't know if you are like me. Sometimes I just like going into books with very little information. Like, I'll listen to a review and be like, oh, that sounds great, and then I'll put on my TBR and then kind of forget what it was about, but I still know I want to read it. So that's kind of where I'm at with a lot of these books, and I hope you don't mind the briefness of my summaries. But for me, I like going into books not knowing, and I'll give more in-depth look once I read them, but I don't want to know everything I'm getting into before I start. My last three books are I have two second books in a series, and one reread that maybe I'm hoping to get to. If I don't in December, I know these three will at least get read in the next few months. The first is the second book in the Starlight trilogy, and this is Skyward trilogy, and this is Starsight. So this is the second. If you want to know my thoughts on Skyward, that is in my October wrap up. It was the last book I read in October, and I gave 5 stars. So if you're interested in seeing what I said about that one, you can check out my October wrap up video. And then I'm currently reading A Voice in the Wind by Francine Rivers, and this is the second in that trilogy, which is An Echo in the Darkness. And everyone who has read A Voice in the Wind has told me to make sure you have the second book on hand because you're going to want to jump right into it. So we'll see. I'm about more than halfway through Voice in the Wind, and it's finally picking up speed for me. Took the first like 150, 200 pages were pretty slow, and now I feel like I'm getting through it more quickly. So we'll see. I don't know if I'm gonna feel the same way and want to like jump right into the second, but I have it on hand just in case. And then my hopeful to reread is Little Women, and I might listen to the audiobook depending on the narrator. I did find it on Hoopla, so if it's an okay narrator, I'll probably listen to it on audio, just because it is a longer read. I think it's like 17 or 18 hour audiobook, somewhere around there. So another lengthy audiobook, which could be nice to have something consistent throughout the month, just to listen to on audio. Again, lots of possibilities. A few like I know for sure, like I'm for sure gonna start Wistress. I know I really want to get to Green Glass House, The Bridge, and at least probably Melody's books, because these are shorter, and Christmas Shoes. The other ones, we'll see. All things I'm interested in. But again, we're gonna see where the month takes me. I'm not gonna put too much pressure on myself to read a ton in December because we are gonna be so busy with family and friends, and that's what's important. In my last video, I shared what we're doing for Advent, so we have all that going on too. So it's just a lot going on, and I don't want to overwhelm myself. I want this to be a fun, enjoyable reading month for me, and I think these books will help me do that, and we'll see what I get to. Let me know what you're looking forward to reading in December and what's on your Christmas TBR. I would love to hear, even though probably shouldn't read them because then I'll want to add more to my TBR. That's what happened. I had a nice little pile of books for December, and then I watched everyone's recent Christmas and December TBR videos that they posted in the last week, and multiple books got added to my hold cart at the library. But that's what I love about the book community, is you're always sharing ideas and what we're reading, and it inspires me and adds to my list and expands my horizons when it comes to what books I'm reading. So I appreciate it. It's kind of like a bittersweet, double-edged sword type of deal, where I would love to have more books to read, but also I only got a little bit of time in the day to read. But that will do it. So thanks so much for sticking with me through this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Bye.